Hi everyone, so this is a quick video about the major reports for each futures commodities product, and it's pretty important. I don't think I've made a video about it where I get all the reports, which ones to look for, and you'll see it's pretty easy, pretty intuitive, and there's really only a few of them. So let's begin. So for gold and silver, they don't really have their own reports that I'm looking at. I'm just looking at pretty much the major news that come for the economy. They can affect, mostly maybe CPI reports, maybe monetary policies, but there's nothing else specific for the gold and silver. Now, for copper, so copper is mostly affected by the Chinese government. So what I did is I just went to the filter here and I just add China under the filter, and sometimes the copper might react or not react to the Chinese news, but generally speaking, we have gold, silver, and copper. They don't really have any specific reports that they are affected by. Now, we have gas, natural gas, and crude oil. So crude oil, there are weekly inventory reports. Usually it's on Wednesdays. So usually on Wednesday, 10:30 in the morning Eastern time, and this report can definitely affect the price of crude oil. Usually, it doesn't, unless there's something really drastic in the actual versus the forecast. But again, usually not a big deal. But this is the only report I look at for crude oil, and obviously sometimes there are like yearly reports from OPEC and stuff. So I just always go to the news and I always read news, and if there's a major report coming up, you can always look it up over here, or just Google the next big OPEC update or the previous update for crude oil, which is important because OPEC really controls the price of crude oil. Now for natural gas, there's the EIA, the weekly natural gas storage report. Here you can see the previous one was April 10, 10:30, and then the next release. And the time will probably be updated as we get closer to this date over here. But this is also something that can or cannot affect the price of natural gas. But again, this is a weekly report. Weekly reports usually don't really affect the price too much, so I wouldn't worry about them. But it's good to know when they're coming, and I think it's really important. Now, the other few things are just the grains, basically. So for the grains, it will be basically the USDA scheduled release dates for agency reports and summaries. So there's a bunch of different reports here. The biggest one that you look at is this one, the World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates reports, which is the WASDE report, which comes once a month. So this one is due on May 12th. And the other major report, or I guess not a major, but this is a weekly report, is this one, the weekly export sales, every Thursday, 8:30 a.m. So sometimes the time's a bit different. Sometimes it might be at noon. It depends. You just gotta look at it. But again, this report doesn't really affect the price too much. But obviously, I'm with my eyes on the screen when this report is coming out. Sometimes something is pretty crazy there. So you gotta be on there to decide if you want to do anything with a position or not. But overall, not big of a deal. This report is usually pretty big deal, and I try to not have any positions during the report. Either open a position after the report, or way before and close it before the report comes out. So this is basically it. There's nothing too much to it. It's a pretty quick video. And again, if you're not sure about some stuff, you can always go to the news here and on TradingView, and there are a bunch of there's soybeans rally extending ahead of the USDA the data release. So you can just click on it and you go, okay, well, there's a USDA data release. Okay, what is it going to be? Let me Google it. Let me find it. This is how I found all of the reports over time, right? Via the monthly WSDE, which we just looked at over here. So this is exactly what you will be looking for, and this is how you would know if there's anything coming up for the commodity you want to trade. So hopefully this video was useful, quick and easy, and thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.